Hi, welcome back. I'm going to carry on looking at creating a rock song in Ableton. Called the rock song Shaman. We've got a number of instruments down the right hand side, 25 in total, although some of these are doubling up. And in today's video we're going to have a look at the drum instruments, the drum sections that we've built. So I'm just going to play you a section of the track so you can hear how it's currently sounding. Alrighty, so let's stop it there. I just wanted to give you a taste of the track. If you want to hear all of the track, please check out the first video in this sequence, which is the intro video. And I will post a full version of the song at the end once we've got through all these tutorials in terms of how I made it. So, yeah, lots of instruments in the song. The drum kit is made up of a number of different parts. We've got a kick drum, a snare drum, bass tom, a couple of high toms on the left and right, closed hats and open hi-hats, and some cymbals. So I was trying to emulate a rock drum kit and try and pan it in a certain way, kind of in the way that you would hear a kit if it was actually on stage. So I'm just going to mute these other sections and you'll be able to hear the kit on its own. Okay, yeah, so the kicks on that channel, the snare, the bass tom, left and right toms, closed hats, open hats, and cymbals. And as I explained in the previous video, I've not really followed a traditional rock structure. You've got these mini breaks going on down here with some guitar sections. But it really is, it kind of reconciles in a more traditional kind of chorus set of chords here, but essentially it's kind of a rolling Led Zeppelin-y rock song. So I've got the kick on this channel. For each of these instrument channels I've used Impulse, which you can find if you go to Instruments and then click on Impulse and then drag that across. Don't go into these presets, just literally take the template Impulse and drag it across. And so I've done that for each of these channels here for the drums. All that does really to Ableton is it tells you that you want to use the Ableton instrument, the Impulse instrument in Ableton, but it doesn't give you a sound, a preset sound that you're dropping in. So you still have to then go in to the samples section, and there's all sorts of different drum samples down here. So if you scroll down, if you're looking for a kick sample sound, go down to the K, to the kick section, and you can preview, audition any of these sample sounds by clicking on them, and that'll just give you an idea of what kind of sound you want, really. And I think it's just a case of experimenting, and then you just literally drag the sample into that first section of the Impulse instrument, because all you're going to be doing is dropping one preset into each channel. You could have the whole kit in one channel, and then you could fill in all of these sections. So you can have the kick in here, the snare in there, the toms in here, and you could build the kit and have it just on one channel, which is easier and quicker. But if you want to think about the frequency ranges that each of the parts of the kit, of the drum kit, are sitting in a neater sit-in, and have slight differences in terms of the sounds that you're looking for. And also, if you want to kind of build your own kit and not use one of these preset impulse kits that you have down here, then yeah, put a different section of the kit on each channel using impulse, and then drop the sample in purely for that. So for example, on this channel we've just got a kick sample. So if I click on that, you'll see that we've selected a kick sample here and dropped it in. Similarly with the snare, we've got a snare 1 RTO sample that we've just dropped into that line. Bass tom, we've got a low tom sample sound, and then for the high toms we've got a high tom RTO and a second high tom RTO. I think there should be two if you just scroll down. Pretty sure there's another one you can sample there. You can get a slightly different RTO sound. I really like the RTO drum sample sounds, so you tend to find those in a lot of the tracks I do. And then you're onto the hats, and again, it's just a case of clicking through, finding the one that suits you best and dropping it in, experimenting with the sound and the open hi-hats there. And then again for the cymbals, there's a cymbal section in the sample section as well. So it's a real versatile way of building up a drum kit and creating the kind of drum kit sound that you want to create. So that's the samples and the presets that I've used. I've then panned the toms left and right to emulate the kit. And with the hats, I've panned them left and right, not necessarily to emulate a drum kit with that, but just to create a bit of space. And the cymbals I've got going off to the right. So in terms of the patterns, it's literally a case of going into the track, and you can actually create a little section by clicking on it. And then if you click on it, you can see that, you know, if I wanted to add some more kick beats in here, I've already double clicked on it and it's telling me here, it's giving me now this separate window down here where I can actually put in the drum beat that I want to put in. You just click on that little pencil mark and you can drop some kick beats in. And really, again, it's just a case of experimenting. In terms of the track I've made, there is a breakdown section, so I didn't put any kick in there. But throughout most of the track, I'm following a 4 beats per bar setup. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a half a beat at the end of the bar, just to give it a bit of motion. And yeah, and then actually then for the snare, putting the snare beats on the off beat. So the kicks are on the on beat and the snares then on every 2nd, 4th, 6th and 8th beat. The toms kind of fitting around it. And then the high toms on the left hand, right hand side, I'm dropping them just slightly behind the beat. So again, it's just to give it a bit of motion. Let's just show you what that sounds like. If I click on here. So it just builds up the beat, makes it sound a little bit more interesting. And then on this section, So the left tom is just before the beat, and the right tom is just after. So it kind of gives it that kind of rolling feel. So then for the hi-hats, I'm pretty sure those are just on every beat. And then for the open hi-hats, they should be on every other beat. Let's just take those off so you can hear the hats together. So again, I just wanted something a bit more traditional for those, which is why they're on the beat, not on the offbeat. And then finally the cymbals, one cymbal crash at the start of each bar. So yeah, it's quite tribal. I wanted something quite rhythmic with a lot more going on there than just a kick and a snare, which is why we've got a lot of toms going on in there, just to kind of keep a kind of a rolling beat, just to make it feel like there's some motion behind the song. In terms of processing and production, on the kick, I've got a couple of EQs, and you're probably wondering why there's 3 EQs here. It could have been done all on one EQ, but sometimes it's quite nice to apply an EQ and then add a second EQ and a third EQ if necessary, just to apply some more kind of refined equalization. So you'll see with the first one, I've applied a, I believe it's a low cut high pass filter. I can never quite remember if I've got those the right way around, but I'm pretty sure it's a low cut high pass filter, in that we're allowing all the frequencies to pass through beyond this point, cutting all the low stuff out. A slight dip around there just to take some of that top end treble off, and then again you'll see that I've boosted around here just to allow that kick to kind of punch through the sound. Don't think there's anything else that I've applied to the kick. To the snare, again, low cut high pass filter, but around the 100 hertz section. So you'll see that it's sitting at a higher frequency than the kick, and again a boost around 500 hertz, so it cuts through in the mix. Bass tom, again, quite severe high pass filter, and taking a lot of the treble off it, so it kind of sits back in the mix. Similar principle with the other 2 toms, and a bit of reverb on those 2 toms so that they sit back in the mix a little bit. And then with the closed and open hi-hats, again some reverb and again quite a severe high pass filter, so we're getting the hi-hats pushed up into the top end of the mix, and again just a little bit of a boost around 10 kilohertz, so that it just cuts through in the mix. Put some reverb on it, push it back in the sound a little bit so it's not dominating it. Cymbals, yeah, they were crashing through quite loudly, so again we've just got a bit of a dip in terms of the decibels just before 1 kilohertz, but then allowing some of that high-end noise to cut through. Quite a lot of reverb on the cymbals. So yeah, that's the drum kit for the sound. I'm just going to open all the other channels back up. I'm sure there's a quicker way of doing this, but and we can just play the kit and hear how it sounds in the whole mix. Okay, so yeah, so if you click on this symbol here, having selected a section of track, it will loop round, which is exactly what just happened there. So yeah, those are the drums for the track. In the next video, I'm going to have a look at the bass synth and the low synths that we've got going on that kind of complement the drum kit. And you know, all I'd finish off with saying is this is just to show you a kind of a template rock song idea. You can go in, you can play around with those sample sounds for the drum kit, drop the ones in that you like, and obviously create the patterns that you want to create, and put the ideas in that you want to put in. So it really is just to show you what I've been doing on the track. And thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in the next video. And if you do want to have a listen to the song in its entirety, flick through to the end of this series of videos where I'll post the final song with a video, or have a listen to the introductory video in this sequence in creating a rock song, which where I play through the song in its entirety. So hopefully see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.